Today I want to take you back to the late 1970s. Imagine China then. With over 1 billion people, its weight in the global economy was comparable to that of Spain or Italy. The world viewed this enormous country as impoverished and isolated, a predominantly agrarian society. But what changed in just one generation? That once isolated nation is now the world's second largest economy. In just 40 years, it has lifted over 800 million people out of poverty and rewritten global trade. It's not just an economic success story. It's the fastest, most radical, and most astounding transformation in human history. Tonight, we will examine the story of this awakening dragon, from the moment those crucial decisions were made to today's challenging technology wars. Who was the mastermind behind this surge? What was the true cost of this incredible rise? It all began after Mao Zedong's death in 1976. The country was in an economic deadlock. Enter Deng Xiaoping, a leader who had been purged but never gave up. His famous philosophy was simple yet revolutionary. It doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice. In other words, set aside ideology and do what works. This was not an easy decision. He faced accusations of being a capitalist roader from hardline ideologues within the party. Deng's success lay not only in economic reform, but also in convincing the Communist Party that creating wealth was the only way to legitimize its rule. The first major step was the household responsibility system in agriculture, which freed farmers and led to an incredible surge in output. The larger effect of this reform was the creation of an immense surplus labor force of hundreds of millions of people who flocked to the cities. This unprecedented army of workers would be the foundation of China's miracle. The first major step was the household responsibility system, which freed farmers and led to a significant increase in agricultural output. This reform's larger effect was the creation of an immense surplus labor force of hundreds of millions of people who flocked to the cities. This unprecedented army of workers would be the foundation of China's miracle. Deng then established special economic zones, SEZs, most notably Shenzhen. He transformed a 30,000-person fishing village into a global metropolis by offering foreign investors tax breaks, streamlined customs procedures, and minimal bureaucracy. Foreign capital was attracted to China because of its unlimited, cheap, and diligent workforce. China became the global assembly line. The true acceleration began in 2001 with China's full accession to the World Trade Organization, WTO. This meant permanent low tariffs for Chinese goods and a massive surge in foreign direct investment, FDI. For a decade, the Chinese economy grew at an average annual rate of over 10%. Everything from your phone battery to your computer chassis carried the Made in China label. This immense production was supported by an infrastructure frenzy, which included the world's longest high-speed rail network and modern container ports, all of which were built by the government. This infrastructure allowed goods to reach global markets quickly and cheaply, showcasing pure efficiency. Due to its export surplus, China accumulated the world's largest foreign reserves. Much of these reserves were invested in U.S. Treasury bonds, making China the largest financier of the U.S. and an indispensable global financial player. However, by the 2010s, the cheap labor model had reached its limit. To avoid the middle-income trap, President Xi Jinping launched Made in China 2025, an aggressive policy that aims to achieve global leadership in high-tech sectors such as AI and robotics, and to eliminate dependency on the West. We see the impact today in electric vehicles, BYD and NEO, and 5G infrastructure, Huawei. Furthermore, the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, aims to extend China's influence across continents. However, it has faced criticism for its alleged debt trap diplomacy, as seen with the Hambantota port in Sri Lanka. However, this success story is overshadowed by risks. The biggest risk is the real estate bubble, which constitutes a quarter of the GDP. This bubble is fueled by unsustainable debt from developers like Evergrande and Country Garden. The government must accept a slower growth rate of 4 to 5% because it can no longer rely on debt-fueled construction. The long-term challenge is demographics. The aging and shrinking population, exacerbated by the one-child policy, is rapidly eroding China's chief advantage, its cheap, abundant labor force. Finally, fierce geopolitical competition with the U.S., as seen in the chip wars, attempts to hinder China's technological progress by restricting its access to advanced semiconductor technology and tools. In conclusion, China's story represents humanity's greatest economic leap. However, this success has brought the country to a critical juncture. It can no longer rely on debt and exports. Pressured by debt, demographics, and competition, China must establish a new equilibrium based on innovation, domestic consumption, and sustainability. The dragon has awakened and run. Now it must tread more carefully.